So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session of Education in AI Era. This session is being hosted by GEG Ahmedabad and GEG Pune. As you all must be aware, and those who are new, I'm just explaining once again. GEG stands for Google Educator Group, and the Google Educator Groups are registered with Google. And I'm the leader for GEG Ahmedabad, Dr. Vishal Varia, and today with me I have a co-leader, Payal Rachadia for GEG Ahmedabad. So this is a very important session today we are having, and this session is all about education in AI era. And I'm overjoyed to welcome Raghu Pandey, the founder of imature.in. Over to you, Raghu.
Thank you, sir. It is a very good opportunity by Google Educators Group, and I'm personally thankful to Dr. Varia for giving me this opportunity. Here we are discussing future of schools, the future of school education system in India and even in the world. I know there are people who have joined from other countries as well. And we are talking about the survival and success of the schools in future. And we are not talking about 5 years down the line. We are talking about 2 to 3 years down the line. This is the future which will be dominated by artificial intelligence, internet, and something called NEP. So majority of the people here are from India, but people who are not from India, NEP is just guidelines for 21st century education to be delivered by schools. Guidelines are given to the Indian schools by Government of India. That's called National Education Policy, and it covers all the best practices of 21st century education, which are being discussed in any other country equally well. So there is nothing specific about NEP that constrains it to Indian schools, but you can just consider that as a guideline for 21st century education. I'll start with a story. You must all have used this device called BlackBerry phone. Am I right?
Yes.
So you know what? At one point of time, around 2005-6, BlackBerry was the king of smartphone business in the world. Right? Almost every smartphone in the world was a BlackBerry phone. Almost every smartphone, right? And something happened that by 2011-12, this king was nowhere in the market. It went down to near 0% market share. Can somebody tell me what was the reason for this? Quick guesses. What happened to a company which was having multi-billion dollars of revenues, more money that the states of India get sometimes in a year, the one company was getting? What happened to them in 5 years? They were nowhere.
Yeah, so we have one answer from Bhumika, ma'am. Yes, you can please.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The external environment changed suddenly. They were popular amongst the executive BlackBerry because of the features related to presentation and all. So all those features which are needed by executives, they were available with BlackBerry only at that point of time, and they were also providing instant messenger BBM. But then we had Android, and now we are able to uh, use these PowerPoints through in our phones, and we also have WhatsApp. So because the external environment changed and they were not able to sustain with their competitive advantage, that is where they were. That is why they were out of the market.
Ma'am, you are correct, but there are few more details to this story.
Okay.
So the reason BlackBerry died was myopia. We all know myopia is
Short.
short-sightedness.
Yes.
What they could not see, they were only able to see the current demand from the executives and the top business persons, as you rightly say, that they were loving BlackBerry, the full keyboard phone and all the apps like BBM, and they were loving this thing. And BlackBerry was enjoying this love they were getting from their current customers and a great demand they were getting from their current customers. But the myopia was they were not able to see the future demand of touch screen phones, and nothing was happening in hiding. Apple had already launched its iPhone in 2007, and they had brushed it aside that this is a toy that only some kids are going to love. Google was already working on its Android, but what they were enjoying, what was BlackBerry obsessed with, was the current demand for their phones. They saw no reason that if my customers are loving me right now, they are demanding full keyboard, physical keyboard in the phones. Why should I bother? So that's what happened. And naturally, when in future, when they accepted that this was a mistake, it was too late. Here is the moral that I want all the educators to understand. uh, if whatever game you are playing, if there is a new competitor comes in, that new competitor can take away some of your market share. But if the new game emerges in the market, a new format or a new kind of product or a new concept emerges in the market, then there is a threat that what you are selling in the market, what you are serving the people, might become totally irrelevant and it will eliminate your product's demand. So keep this in mind. The reason we put that as the first slide is because if companies, huge, humongous, giant companies like BlackBerry, who were ruling the world market at one point of time, if they can have the crisis of survival, any organization can, right? So let's not just brush it off that survival is not a question. All right. So I will be sharing these slides with you, and you can read this Harvard case study, which has the details about this story uh, after this presentation. So, what is the new format that is emerging in the school education system? That new format is called the 21st century education. I know I'm not bringing any news to you. And this 21st century education can now very crisply be defined as uh, making your students ready for an AI dominated future. All right. Uh, let's see how strong is the demand for this new format of education, 21st century education. From the industry, they have started shouting at the top of their voice to schools and colleges, make your students AI ready. The government is also starting to encourage, and the voice is getting stronger from the government, that make your students NEP, sorry, the school becomes 100% NEP ready. But then, is the industry paying us? Is the NEP paying us? No. Who is paying us? The parents are paying us. And what are they demanding? They are not demanding 21st century education. What they are demanding? Get our son or daughter into IIT or in NEET, or get the board exams marks. That's what they are demanding, right? So at least you can feel rest assured that I know the reality of schools for the constraints they are working in, right? So, do you agree the scenario which I have depicted in this slide? Have I got the scenario correct, my dear friends?
Yes, yes.
Right? Okay. So, dear friends, this is the same trap what BlackBerry fell into. You know, they focused on their existing customers because they were demanding physical keyboards, and just because they continued to focus on that thing, when they realized their mistake, it was too late for them to move. All right. So the my message here is that no business should blindly trust their customers' demand, because it can change overnight. Let me ask you. In February of 2020, that was the time when COVID was already a known thing, but in India we did not have the lockdown, and we were just talking about what's happening in China, what's happening in other countries. COVID can come to India. That was February of 2020, right? Uh, did any parent come to you and demanded online classes? Can anybody share any experience with me or other people that yes, in my school, even before lockdown happened, some parents came to us and said that we only want online classes for our children. You start using Zoom or Google Meet or Teams. Did that happen?
Not in our school.
Even I don't know if it happened anywhere in the world. That
Yes, never happened. Yeah.
But right 1 month later, when the lockdown was imposed, the same set of parents were expecting what from you? That all of your teachers should be pro at using these online video conferencing tools and conduct online classes and be equally efficient as if they are teaching in the class. Weren't they expecting it from you? Right?
Yes.
1 month
Yes.
later. So, dear friends, the moral is we should not blindfoldedly trust our customers' demand, because they also don't know what their future looks like. They will just go with their best of, uh, instincts at that time, and they will demand whatever they want to. All right. So, what can the school do to avoid this BlackBerry fate? We have to cater to our paying customers who are the parents, yet the industry is saying that, and the government is saying, you become AI ready, you become NEP ready. What should the school do? So here is a quick strategy, quick advice to you. You should honor the expectations of industry and NEP, because that's the future. And then you have to do something which sounds difficult, but that's the only option, that you have to uh, talk to your parents, tactfully convince them about the compulsions of change. Let's try to look into a crystal ball here. uh, and when you talk to the parents, what can you tell them, that what kind of change is happening? Okay, can you tell me that in near future IITs can have multiple entrance routes? What do you think? Is it possible that in future, in addition to that entrance exam, IITs can allow students to take admissions based on various other things? Maybe the projects they made in school, maybe something else. Maybe they are coming from an arts college, but there is a route from arts college to IITs. Do you think NEP is allowing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Multidisciplinary. Yes.
Yes, and multiple entrance
Interdisciplinary. Yes.
multiple entrance routes into the same college. Then, okay, what do you think? Can the pattern of board exams change in future, and they start testing the communication skills, collaboration, critical thinking, and such things, and not what it is today? Is it possible it can change in near future?
Yes. There is a possibility.
Okay. And my last question to help you think a little bit about this compulsion of change, uh, and please listen to me very carefully, will a good college, going to good college, still remain a prerequisite for a great career for a student? Today, to have a great career, your students must go to a good college. After passing school, they must enter a good college, so that they start a great career. Am I right? That's the condition today.
Yes.
Is it possible that your students can have a great career without having a college degree?
Mostly if colleges do not change their pattern of teaching, or
Right. Absolutely. If we could have more time, we could have discussed in detail.
yeah,
But if you look,
we get the answers in the chat box.
so, if you look at what the top companies are saying, if you look at what the industry experts are saying, they want skills. They don't want college degrees from students, right?
Yes.
All right. So here is a quick advice, that to avoid the BlackBerry fate, you have to honor what industry and NEP is saying, and tactfully try to convince the parents that, listen, parents, that we have to change our ways a bit. So please cooperate. Okay. Thankfully, there is one big sigh of relief for you: the expectation of industry that you make your students AI ready, and the expectation of government that you become NEP ready is exactly the same. You don't have to do even one bit different from becoming 100% NEP ready, or you think that you are making your students 100% AI ready. It's basically the same set of to-dos that you have to follow. So this is a big sigh of relief. You don't have to walk on two paths. Okay, let's see what they are, what these things are. So to, I guess, to achieve that state, you can set four goals for yourself. and that goals are important to be achieved in the next 2 years. Make your school NEP ready, make your students 21st century and AI ready. Then number three, very, very important, make the best use of AI in your own school, in teaching and non-teaching processes. And then something which will be a fallout of using so much of technology, that there will be digital discipline issues in your school. You must have a system of handling those. Let's quickly look at these goals and some solutions around those. So, how to become 100% NEP ready? If you just pick up the NEP document and start reading, it looks like a big cloud. It doesn't give you a clarity, although objectives are very clear what you're supposed to do, but how you are supposed to achieve that is not very clear in that document. So, what we have done, we have converted that NEP expectations into a set of 20 questions. It's a question paper containing 20 questions for senior educators and school decision makers to work on. Uh, as I said, you will be getting these slides. You can just click on this download question paper button then, and you can attempt this question paper. It will, when you are answering these 20 questions, you are basically planning NEP implementation into your school. So we have done a fair bit of bringing in clarity into that process. Okay, and we call it the toughest exam for schools. Trust me, when you're going to read these questions, you will see that this is not a joke. We are not adding one more workshop or a subject to the school. We are actually looking at transformation. Okay, in nutshell, what NEP wants from you, in a nutshell, these are the three things what NEP expects your school to do. Number one, your teachers should, put on this new role. Now they are not just teaching or delivering the content from the book or the smart board. They are not just amplifying what's written in the book. They are doing these 5 C's. They are creating their own content digitally, and more importantly, they are curating content from an ocean of learning resources which is available on internet, and they are able to curate it very well, depending upon the custom needs of their students. Then they are conducting flipped classes or conducting project based learning modules. I'm sure the community very well understands what flipped classes are. Then number 4 and 5 are extremely important. Coach the students and counsel the students. So this is where the human teacher connects with the student at the human level and tries to address the personal problems of the students. Uh, what is not, I mean, what's the problem in understanding some subjects, and what if it is other than academics that a child is struggling with, to become their coach and counsel. If a teacher can do these 5 things, then that teacher is fit to be teaching in a 21st century school. Otherwise, the current role of a teacher, which is basically amplifying what's written in the book, is much better done by AI. We'll look at that. Then we'll look at this number three column. This is the goals. These are the goals that your students should be working towards, or you have to, nurture your students towards these goals. These are very popular 4 C's: critical thinking, creativity, for problem solving, then collaboration, communication. And what we have added to this is very important: self learning skills. So these are the 4 C's, and optimum use of technology. Uh, you know what, you can really appreciate these things that you want to do, you accept it and you want to do that, but the reality is, your teachers cannot fit into the new role of 5 C's. Your students cannot achieve the new learning goals, and optimum use of digital technologies also cannot happen if there is if the strong foundation of something is missing. We'll look at something very shortly. Okay, let's look at the number 2 goal. You want to make your students 21st century ready and AI ready. Okay, fortunately, if you are working on NEP implementation sincerely, you will not have to do anything extra. Okay, if you are just doing that, your students will cross this, chasm with these steps of critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication. self-learning skills, and they will achieve 21st century success without doubt. So work on goal number one, goal number two automatically will be achieved. But your students cannot develop these four C's and self-learning skills without the strong foundation of something. We will look at what that something is shortly. Number three, and this is extremely important for all the decision makers who are attending this session. Uh, you have to now decide that time to use AI in classroom and in our school has arrived. The time for wait and watch is over. I would welcome you to read this thing here, and I would read it out for you. Schools making the best use of artificial intelligence will easily push out the ones not using it. Sorry, it is a cutthroat competition out there, whether we diplomatically accept it or not, but it is out there. AI plus internet, this combination can greatly enhance the quality of what a school delivers and also the number of students that a school can take care of. If a school can take care of 1,000 or 5,000 students in a physical infrastructure with the help of AI plus internet, the school can very well run a virtual campus and the capacity can go up to 20,000 or even 50,000 students being catered to from the same physical infrastructure. You know, so that's a big opportunity for you also and also for your competitor. All right, my dear friends. Uh, and we want our teachers and students to utilize AI tools well, but they cannot do it unless the foundation is missing. We'll look at the foundation very soon. As I said, when you're going to start using optimum level of technology in your school, the digital discipline problems will arrive. And trust me, these problems are already there in your school. Some might acknowledge, some school leaders here might acknowledge, and some might not. But your students are already overusing, misusing, and using internet in a risky way. This is happening every day. This is not an occasional thing. Cyberbullying, students going on confession pages and write something nasty about the school or teachers or students. Plagiarism is happening left and right every day. Your majority of your students are in some or the other kind of digital addiction. Pornography and hacking, all of these things are already happening. And as of now, as we speak, schools are dealing with police and courts and cyber legal cases because students indulging in these things. All right. uh, some can acknowledge and some might not, but this is happening. uh, there is a way to address that, and this is also part of takeaway from today's session, that you must implement an acceptable use policy in your school, and we have a draft for you to download and customize. We can have a detailed discussion on how to implement AUP, but in a nutshell, you can have this document in your school signed by everyone, but you want students to follow that, practice those things, right? That cannot happen unless there is a strong foundation of something, and that something is digital citizenship and internet maturity skills. So if you want your teachers and students to create great digital content, comply with your school's acceptable use policy, develop self-learning skills and 4Cs, manage their own online reputations, teachers and students to perform well in the new NEP scenarios, use make the optimum use of technologies and make the optimum use of AI tools effectively for teaching and learning. You need to have the foundation of these 10 skills. All right. So quickly, these are the 10 skills which cover all the necessary aspects of being productive and safe online. Okay. So mature social networking, professional networking, sharing knowledge on forums, expressing your own knowledge through blogs, how to search trustworthy knowledge online, making the best use of online courses, digital ethics, online safety, and making developing a positive online reputation. So this foundation is absolutely important for a 21st century school. That's why we call this subject DCM as the most important subject. So to create this strong foundation, we have a path suggested for you. The level one we have already facilitated with a free toolkit for any school to work on. That is called a and we propose that you start a DCIM club in your school using our free toolkit. You can download this free toolkit from this presentation when we give it to you later. and then you can explore what this level 2 and level 3 are. Uh, right now, I will go ahead and talk about the AI readiness, which you need to understand. Uh, by the way, there are so many other benefits of running digital citizenship and internet maturity program in your school. So many other benefits. We can talk about it later someday. But here is the thing, my dear decision makers, as I requested, GEG Ahmedabad and Pune to, make sure the decision makers and school owners and leaders are here. Uh, till just 1 or 2 years back, the formula for success of a school was on the left side of the screen, which is 50%. You have to be an English medium school. You have to have international standards of infrastructure and education. You have to have a great infrastructure. You have to have excellent teachers. Then produce great board exam results, IIT, NEET, and all the entrance exam results, and provide all-round development to the students. Am I right? This formula, if any school has cracked, it is a successful school, right? Have I missed something in that formula?
Yeah, it's ever growing. It's ever growing. You're right.
And now, if you look at right after the launch of ChatGPT and the explosion of AI tools and what AI can do on the positive and negative side, now the schools have to be fair. That is, be focusing on AI readiness. So please remember this acronym FAIR. This is 50% of now your success and survival. And this is going to be absolutely true, in my opinion, beyond 2025. So you have got time till 2025 to be fair, that is, be focusing on AI readiness. By the way, what is AI readiness? Let me quickly take you through this as we are approaching towards the end of this presentation. You can answer that, yeah, AI readiness is learning about AI and using AI tools in the class. True, but the AI readiness thing goes much deeper, and I'll show you. In addition to just your students learning AI and your teachers using AI tools in the classroom, there are so many other things. Number one, the skill readiness in your students for an uncertain future, an ever changing job scenario. And that skill readiness is this: a strong foundation of digital citizenship and internet maturity skills. On top of that, communication, creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, and self learning skills. And on top of that, strong AI skills. So this is the pyramid that ensures this. The student, if the student is having this pyramid inside him or her, then the student is ready for an ever changing job scenario. Even if the student faces as we say, a career crisis, then the student has the skill to sail through that career crisis. If the job is lost, the student can relearn for a new job. But you also need to install mental resilience in your students to cope with career crisis. It's not crisis, it's the plural. Multiple crises are going to be occurring in your students career life, probably twice a year or maybe once a year. They might have to make major changes to their career. So there has to be mental resilience to that. Then they they need to have a knowledge of global AI trends, such as what new tools are coming, what new techniques are coming out, concepts like universal basic income. Does anyone here know what the concept of universal basic income is? UBI. Has anyone heard this thing recently in context of AI? Green, please. Has anyone heard about concept of UBI?
Not really. We don't have
Okay.
much answers in the chat, and that also is no only. We have to answer
Okay, all
that.
right, all right. So you will be surprised that leaders, tech leaders across the world, including Sam Altman, Bill Gates, all of these top people are telling governments across the world that start making strategies and policies around UBI, that is Universal Basic Income, which means majority of the youngsters are not going to get an employment which can feed them and clothe them. So be prepared to give them a very basic amount of income every month in their account so that they can buy food, buy clothes, and buy bus passes and buy electricity for survival. And they are saying a majority of the population will have to survive on universal basic income. So are we aware about these trends? These talks have been happening since past 6 months. So please open up your eyes to this ecosystems beyond school ecosystem. Look at what industry is doing. Okay, and what new careers can emerge out of AI. Okay, so the knowledge of these global trends are absolutely important, mission critical. Then uh, AI readiness also means that the students know how to stay safe from the AI evils. Concept like deep fakes, misinformation, hallucinating AI girlfriends and boyfriends, which can take completely distract a person from their own well-being and get sucked into an AI created world. I'm sure many people here might not be aware about deep fakes and hallucinating AI concepts. Augmented reality. Uh, and augmented reality things. So safeguards from these things are important. And finally, the truth will be our children will, majority of our children will not have money to spend on vanity. You will have to teach them right now to start living a simple lifestyle. What is fiscal discipline? What is not overspending and avoiding vanity purchases? So, my dear friends, all of these things are included in AI readiness. It's not just learning how to use AI. That's the world we are going into. So, as I say, your school has to be fair. That is, your school has to be focusing on AI readiness of students definitely by 2025, because after that, these are the requirements. This will be the demand from the parents, as far as I understand. Here is my last slide, dear attendees. Not just BlackBerry failed, another giant, a company much bigger than BlackBerry, which ruled probably a bigger market than BlackBerry. It was called Nokia, right? Doesn't need any introduction. That also failed because of the same reason. And the CEO, while it was being acquired by Microsoft, the Nokia CEO was giving his last speech and he burst into tears and said, "We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost." So, dear educators, what you are doing right now in the best interest of your school is not wrong. But please look at the trends, the writings on the wall, which has been written by industry, which is being written by government, and act according to those things. And if you're convinced that yes, you want to implement DCM program with the help of Google Educators Group, I'm sure my company would want to support everyone here to implement a DCM program in their school. So yeah, thank you very much, and I'm open for Q&A. I'll be sharing these slides in PDF format through Dr. Varia sir, and all of these things, the NEP readiness document, the AUP, and all of these things are downloadable from that very slide deck. So yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Raghu. We have really given an eye-opening session to us today. Something into the world of AI and somewhere where we cannot imagine that where things would go, where the careers would go. And this is something you really opened up our eyes. But now we need to learn for all these things. I think we got another mission for GEG, that to make all the educators aware in this direction.